Well, welcome to our discussion on ICTs for school leadership. It's an area where there are a lot of opportunities for you as a beginning teacher to take a leadership role that don't exist in any other aspect of education at your level. So this week we're going to be discussing how you actually have an opportunity to be involved in a leadership role in your schools through your engagement with the use of ICTs. So before we explore how to become an ICT leader in schools, I've got a little clip for you to look at. This is from the students in a class of a friend of mine who works in New York, and she had her students create this as a challenge to teachers. And in response to this, I had students in your course, not this year, but in a couple of years ago, create responses to this challenge and about how they would address the issues that the students raise about what it is to prepare them for the world today with respect to ICT in education. So have a look at the challenge and see if you would be able to respond in a positive way to what these students would be asking of you. Then we've got a clip from West Thornton Primary, and while this is a primary school, it showcases the role of the ICT coordinator and how they're employed to assist other teachers engage with the use of technology in their classrooms. Now, a lot of people have been able to gain employment in schools as ICT coordinators. And it's one of the few areas where, as a beginning teacher, you can bring expertise that doesn't exist in a school environment and become a leader in that school. I had the opportunity to do so myself, and as a first year out teacher, I was teaching teachers of 20 or 30 years experience how to engage with the use of technology. And it's a very empowering, but also, of course, a very challenging role to undertake in a school. But those opportunities do exist, particularly in high schools, where many high schools employ ICT specialists to assist other teachers engage with the use of technology in their teaching. So it's something to think about, and there's a clip showing that role and some of the responses of other teachers to the role of the ICT coordinator. Next, we've got some clips to have a look at. These come from the AITSL website, which looks at best practice in education and also about the standards that you need to achieve as a teacher. And I've drawn out a few examples here where they've integrated the use of ICT into their teaching practice. So have a look at those and see the sorts of things that are expected of teachers in meeting the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers related to ICT in this particular case. Finally, I wanted to show you some of our award winners. This one's from a couple of years ago now, but there are a range of awards available to teachers in relation to their teaching, and in this particular case, related to the use of ICT in their teaching. Now, while it may take you a number of years before you've got enough experience and credibility in a classroom environment to receive awards for teaching in general, you could start looking at how you're using ICTs and digital technologies in your classrooms and consider applying for some of these awards fairly quickly into your careers. Now, of course, in your first few years, you're going to be very busy with classroom management and behavior management and issues around that. But please look at, as you start integrating the use of ICT and doing things in innovative and interesting new ways, using some of the technologies you've seen in this course, or some of the other things that will be emerging in the next few years. And if you're doing something innovative, something that most other teachers are not doing, and generally if you're using ICT effectively, you probably are doing something that most other teachers aren't doing, then there will be awards and recognition available for that. Myself, I was able to achieve a number of awards as a teacher through my use of ICTs and computers in education. and indeed I was able to win one of our national awards, where I was able to go down to Canberra and meet the minister and so forth, and that award attracted, I think from memory it was $10,000 for myself and $10,000 for the school in order to purchase new equipment. So there are a number of lucrative awards available that will then allow you to do more interesting and engaging things with your students. Of course, one of the challenges you'll always have around the use of ICTs is having the resources to engage with things that you've seen, but it's an opportunity that does exist. Finally, one way of really showing leadership and getting involved with the use of ICTs is having your students involved in the various competitions and other extracurricular activities that are available around ICTs. Probably the most popular one at the moment is the Young ICT Explorers. Began in Queensland, it's now going national, but there's opportunities there for students to engage with a whole range of different projects, and you can integrate those into your curriculum and then have your students focused on participating in the competition and receiving awards. Normally they give them iPads or iPods and things of that nature, but it's also a great way of seeing best practice in what teachers are doing and what students are doing in Australia now. It used to be just Queensland, but now we can actually see best practice throughout the nation. So if you really want to challenge yourself and see what the very best teachers are doing and best students are doing through those teachers, then getting involved and participating in the Young ICT Explorers, or even just going along and seeing the award ceremony and viewing all the different projects. It's a bit like a big science fair. It's a really good way of staying up to date with what the latest and most innovative approaches to teaching and student engagement with those use of ICTs. So I encourage you all to come to the whole course discussion and participate in a discussion on how to become a leader through the use of ICTs in your schools. It really does open up a whole range of opportunities for you. I understand you're all very busy focusing on your assessments and so forth, but to gain the most out of this course, you do need to participate in the discussions, or ideally participate in the discussions. And so I hope to see many more of you at the discussions this week so that we can engage in these topics in depth. So that's an introduction to ICTs and becoming a leader. Now you're only beginning your teacher education, so you'll be a chance to experience a lot more ways in which ICT are being used in your tertiary courses, and also see how they're being used in various specialist curriculum areas as you go through your degree program. But this has been a snapshot, and next week we're going to start our focus in particular on the secondary school and how we can actually explore the use of ICTs in that particular form in more detail. So until then, if I don't see you at the whole course discussion, which I'm sure I hopefully will, bye for now.